So this may not be as exciting as other stories, but here we go. I 16F went to my grandparents' house a little over a week ago. My brother and I are both in online school, so they ask more often for us to go up to them since we wouldn't be missing school. However, we don't really like our dad's side of the family for a few reasons you'll learn later. A thing to know about me is that I have ADHD and a fast metabolism. ADHD makes it harder for me to focus, and my fast metabolism means that I haven't been gaining weight as I'm meant to, even though I eat enough for someone my age and even eat snacks more often. Moving into the story, my brother and I went to my grandparents' house for about a month and came home about a week ago. My grandparents have a rule where we can only have one soda a day, which we find stupid since we are old enough that more than one soda won't make us super hyper. I drink coffee to help with my ADHD. And I had brought my own coffee pods since my grandmother and I don't drink the same coffee, but use the same creamer. She got mad when I used some creamer in my coffee, and I assumed the issue was that she bought it. I have my own money now that I have a job, so I can buy my own. I thought it weird but brushed it off. Apparently, that wasn't the issue. The issue she had was that I was drinking coffee in the first place. It baffled me. But I explained that I've been drinking coffee for a few years now and brought my own coffee so I can do so here without using hers. She started to yell at me that a kid my age shouldn't drink coffee, and caffeine was bad for me, etc. We got into an argument over this, and after a while, I just yelled, "Well, you drink like 5 Cokes a day. If drinking one small cup of coffee is bad for me, then maybe limit yourself to 1 Coke a day like you do to me and my brother." She stared at me for a while, and then the argument just started all over again. I don't even know why my weight got brought into this, but she said something along the lines of if you didn't drink so much coffee, maybe you would gain weight. I got defensive since I am very insecure about my weight. I am 80 pounds, and that is underweight for someone my age. In response, I yelled at her to go fuck yourself. You say that drinking coffee has caused me to be underweight, but you drink it every day as well and can stand to lose some. Then went and locked myself in my room. When my grandfather came back from work, my grandma told him what happened. He got mad that I yelled at my grandmother and in response told them that they didn't raise me, and neither did my dad. So they have no say in whether I can drink coffee or not. My mom raised me, so if I can or not falls on her. Now I already don't like my dad's side of the family, and neither does my brother. One reason why we don't like them may sound selfish, but here are a few reasons why we don't really like them and try to avoid them like the plague. Once when we were roughhousing with our dad, we were much younger, maybe around 8 and 7. My dad jumped on my dad's back, and he grabbed him by the front of his shirt before holding my brother on the floor by his throat, and yelled at him, "Don't jump on my fucking back." My grandparents were watching us play, and they didn't do a damn thing. Another reason is that they show obvious favoritism towards my brother. For example, Christmas 2 years ago, they bought my brother a very nice gaming PC that was around $2,000 to $3,000. They had gotten me a kid's makeup kit that you can buy for like $10. And I don't even wear makeup, often for holidays or birthdays. They will get my brother really nice and expensive gifts, but anything I get from them is all really cheap stuff and is all geared towards more girly stuff, makeup, dress up, doing spa stuff when I'm into a lot of things. My brother is games, sports, etc. I brought it up with them and how it made me feel. They said they understood, but then it just continued. So I never brought it up again. There are a lot of rules at their house we have to follow, such as we have to stay out in the living room during the day and can't just hang out in our rooms. But my grandpa is always in either his room or his Radio Shack when he's not at work. We aren't allowed to take naps during the day or stay on our phones or computers all day. But that's pretty much all my grandmother does. The news that I yelled at my grandmother and what I said to her got around my dad's side of the family. And now they're all mad at me since you didn't have any right to say any of that. I live by the firm belief that if you can't take something being dished right back at you, don't dish anything out in the first place. So, am I the jerk here? Edit. My brother saw this and said I should add this part, so here. Part of the argument I left out since I didn't really think it needed to be included is that I am currently prescribed ADHD pills and one other pill. The thing is I don't take the ADHD pills unless we don't have coffee sense. And this is a common side effect to ADHD pills. They made me lose my appetite. That being paired with me already being underweight. Me and my mom both agreed that I should stop taking them and we would talk to my doctor about not putting me on anymore. I had stopped taking the second pill since after taking it for a while, we saw an increase in the issue I got prescribed them for. This was something she was also mad at since according to her once you get prescribed pills by a doctor you should keep taking them until your doctor says otherwise.
Next story. Background: I am currently in high school, and we have Zoom meetings in almost every class, every day for online school. I dislike it, especially having to have our cameras on. I get super self-conscious that anyone in my class could be looking at me, and I wouldn't know. A user in the comments pointed out that it could be paranoia, which I think it is. Being paranoid is the best way to describe the feeling. My English teacher, who we will call Ms. Stevens, is super extroverted and loves to see her students. This is all fine and dandy, but she obsesses over it. She yells at kids all the time for not having their cameras on, as she wants to see you participating in the class. I don't think students should have to invite their class into their personal lives for a grade. After a while, she got fed up with people ignoring her demands, so she started docking points for the day's assignment if you didn't have your camera on. I joined a meeting recently without my camera on as per usual, and I began working on the assignment. She stayed completely silent about my camera for some reason, which I loved for that class. I could work in peace. Later that evening, I got a notification on my phone that I got a 75% on today's assignment. This was terrible for me, because it took my grade in her class down to a B, and I lost my 4.0 GPA. I emailed Ms. Stevens and asked if it was a mistake or anything. She said something along the lines of "I need to see you participating in the class, and because I couldn't I felt it was necessary to deduct 25% from your grade." I don't have the email right in front of me at the moment. I told her that I didn't feel comfortable turning my camera on, which I feel is reasonable. She gave me a hard no and said nobody is watching you in class, they are watching me because I am the teacher. You will get used to it eventually. I was pissed. All I want is a little bit of privacy, sure not all the kids stare, but we all have moments where we get lost staring. I decided I would turn my camera on, but I wanted her to regret it. I downloaded a super glitchy, flashy, bright, and disgusting glitch effect that I could put over my camera using a plugin for OBS that I found online. It lets you use OBS as your camera, so I could add whatever I wanted. The next day I show up for the meeting, and turn my camera on. A few minutes into the lesson, I turned on the glitch effect and lowered the frame rate of my camera to make it look like I was just lagging. Ms. Stevens asked what was happening, so I replied, "I think my Wi-Fi is being slow or something." She moved on to the lesson, but you could tell that she was starting to get annoyed by this constant flashing on her screen while she was talking. There aren't enough kids in the class for her to simply put me on another page, and I don't think she knows how to turn my camera off herself. I began to enjoy seeing her reaction, so after I finished my assignment, I started messing around with it a little. I started flashing random things on my camera like pictures of Shrek, memes, and whatever came to my mind pretty much. She pulled me aside after class. Keep in mind my camera still had the glitch effect going, and she lectured me on how having my camera on like that was distracting me, even though I finished my assignment after only 15 minutes or so. I just said, "You wanted me to turn my camera on, so I did. You never told me what I had to have on my camera." She kind of rolled her eyes a little and just gave in. I don't have to have my camera on in that class anymore. She also apparently emailed my parents about me being distracting, and when I showed the plugin to my parents, they found it hilarious and didn't care all that much. I wasn't distracting any of the other students, and I was already done. No problems here. Edit, a lot of people in the comments are asking if my grade got fixed and if I contacted the principal. Both of these things happened, and I am sure my teacher got a talking to from the principal. My grade is fixed and I am back to having all A's.